Hey everyone, Mr. here. This is a guide for round 19 of the Manufacturer series. Let's get this started. Bring yourself to the left and brake at the 100 meter mark. Be careful of the yellow curb that is inside the turn, as that could potentially throw the car off. Carefully accelerate your way out, and then brake before you reach this Red Bull Mobile sign. So you'll be braking around here, you brake hard for a very short moment, then ease off of the brakes to let the car rotate its way through this corner. Gently start to ease on the throttle, then do a short lift off of the throttle as you make this left turn, and then start to fully accelerate. Brake at the 50 meter mark, you brake hard for a short moment, then quickly start to ease off of the brakes, and then brake before the red and white area on the left end. Just get the car to quickly rotate around this corner as fast as you can, carefully apply the throttle, and you are good to go. But that is off the lap guide. Let's go ahead and talk about the strategies. For the qualifying session, you're going to have 10 minutes to try to get a good qualifying time. Obviously, since this is on a short track, it's going to be more than enough time to try to get a good qualifying time. So depending on your car, your driving style, and how all that ends up treating your tires, it is possible to do one super long stint of trying to get a good qualifying time, or you can split your qualifying session into small stints. So you can do 2 or even 3 laps before you jump out into the menu and then jump back into the qualifying session, and then start another short qualifying stint. That way you'll have multiple chances to try to get a good qualifying time, but each time that you jump back in, you'll have fresh new racing soft tires. That way you don't have to go all the way around into the pit stop and do the whole animation sequence. You can just skip into the pit stop, and then all you have to do is just wait for the car to come out and then do your qualifying stint. Slipstream will be pretty useful here, as it will shave off a couple of tenths of your time, which could make a difference between starting in one position or even higher. So keep that into mind, and if you are getting the slipstream out of someone, make sure that you keep a safe distance between yourself and the car ahead of you. That way you don't end up getting too close to them and have to slow yourself down, which will end up hurting your own qualifying time. And with this super long qualifying session, it's going to be more than enough time to try to get a really good qualifying time, so I would suggest jumping out and jumping back in. That way you can have multiple chances at trying to get a good qualifying time with a new set of racing soft tires each time you start a new stint. For this race, your goal is to try to complete this whole race without going to the pit stop at all. So because of that, you're going to have to fuel save like crazy, and you're going to have to save your tires. That way they are not shredded by the end of the race. So the better that your car is at saving tires and saving fuel, then your odds of doing well in this race should go up. And of course, it'll be easier to do those things. But if you are in a car that is harsh on its fuel or harsh on its tires, or a combination of the two, then you're going to have a bit of a harder time trying to do the no stop here. For some cars, it may not even be possible to do a no stop on the racing soft tires, so you might have to go onto a harder tire compound like the racing medium tires or even the racing hard tires, or you'll have to be forced to go into the pit stop to get a new set of racing soft tires if you are going with the racing soft tire strategy, or refuel if your car is really bad on fuel efficiency. So with the Porsche Cayman, you want to shift when the bar on the bottom of the screen is around 50 to 55% full. And as you see here, I am taking turns 2 and 3 on third gear. That way you can save up a bit more fuel along the way. So your goal is to try to use under 5% of fuel per lap, or if you want to be a little more specific, 4.76% of fuel every lap. So if you can use that much amount of fuel or even less each lap, then you should be good to go. You won't have to worry about refueling at all. And as for the tires, you just want to be as smooth as possible when you're doing any input at all, whether that is turning, accelerating, or braking. That way you can try to preserve your tire life and have that tire life extended a little bit more. And you just want to be extremely careful through here as well, just going through any right turns, as the left tires will be taking a majority of the tire wear. So at the end of the day, this is a tire saving and a fuel saving race. So if your car and your driving style can promote both tire and fuel saving, then you should do pretty good here. And if not, then you're going to have a bit of a harder time here, as you may be forced to use a harder tire compound, which will slow your times down, or you may be forced to go to the pit stop to get a change of new tires or even refuel. And one last time with the Porsche Cayman, shift at around 50 to 55% of the bar on the bottom of the screen being full, and you shouldn't have to worry about having to refuel at all. And this shifting point will change between different cars, so some cars might be able to rev out a little bit more and still feel safe to not have to refuel, or some other cars might need to shift even earlier, that way they don't have to refuel. So if you're not in the Porsche Cayman GT4, just try out a manufacturer practice race, try to find out where you need to shift, that way you'll know where to shift and you won't have to worry about running out of fuel. But anyways, that is pretty much it for this guide. I'm going to go ahead and sign off now. So this is Mr. CA, wishing you a good race, and I'll see you in the next video.